Let's start with the head of the snake, Iran. Do you think we are close to witnessing the collapse of the Iranian regime?
I really don't know. I don't know. But also, I don't see that the IRCG and the Ayatollah and their ideology just disappearing suddenly. And I don't see the means of how to actually overthrow them without creating so much chaos and bloodshed. So it's very hard for me to say at this moment.
I understand you do not advise Israel to go into this battle now.
I advise Israel to fight and defend itself, but in intelligent means. And Israel has the means. Israel has the most powerful intelligence service in the world. They know the mullahs very well, and they can keep them paralyzed if necessary for as long as it takes. Never allow them achieve mass destruction weapon or ballistic missile launching capabilities. That is, I highly encourage the state of Israel to continue doing this business. It has been in this war for very long, whether if it's a cold war or a hot war, Israel led the way. But what I don't want to see Israel getting involved in attempts to change the goal from security-driven war to a war driven by changing the regime that suits superpowers. I don't think that this is Israel fight at the moment. And I hope that whatever decision that they make is not going to have consequences.
Why do you think Trump decided to halt the speculated attack against Iran?
The preparation for war against Iran, I think, was before the protests took place. I think the United States was preparing a surprise attack. The protests happened, and I don't think that they actually helped the United States because the United States was not ready yet. Remember, they were just out of Venezuela, like literally out of Venezuela.
Yes.
And I think they were taking them one by one. So their plan against Iran was not in the right time when the protests happened. But the protest gave Trump the moral cover why he should go and fight the mullahs, because his announced reason, they have been killing the civilian protesters. But in reality and the truth, this is not what Trump is doing. Trump is after the Iranian oil and natural resources. And I think it's a very big gamble. I think it's a very dangerous one, and it's bringing us back to similarities of situations in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya, in Yemen, and in Syria. And the situation, in my opinion, in Iran is very delicate situation, very dangerous. It's a minefield. This is not Greenland, where mining natural minerals is very easy and smooth. It's a minefield that could lead to the collapse of society, a civil war, and consequences that we might have to deal with for the next 10 years or 20 years. And what I don't like, that I get involved in a war driven by greedy war leaders that are going after the oil, going after the natural resources. The type of fight I allow myself to get involved in is a just fight that is not going to gamble with the lives of 90 million human beings. That's a problem, because I think the least of Trump's concern, the least of his concern, is the Iranian people. And I don't want this scenario to be repeated by fancy ideas about overthrowing a dictatorship to free the people. No, it's not about freeing the people. It's about freeing the oil. This is the real intention of such leadership. And this is not driven by justice. The Iranian oil belongs to the Iranian people and to the Iranian people alone. It's their right to decide what they do with it. And up to this point, they don't have the power to overthrow Ayatollah. We need to ask ourselves why they don't have the power to overthrow Ayatollah. Maybe because he has enough support. And if he has enough support and he has a real base that is connected to him ideologically, then we need to be very concerned before we start arming the people and pushing the people towards clashes, because it's going to end up much worse than Syria. And hundreds of thousands of people, possibly millions of people, are going to die. So lying and to say that our objective and our goal to free the Iranian people, while in reality we are gambling with their lives to control the oil, I think this is deceiving, it's dishonest, and the consequences for such thing are going to be deadly.
Now let's talk about Hamas. The United States government is announcing the transition of the so-called second phase in Gaza and even to the so-called Board of Peace. What is your opinion on this?
Demilitarizing and de-radicalizing Hamas and Gaza, the Palestinians in general, because it's not only Hamas, there are so many other militias. It has been the condition for Trump's peace plan. So now to try to go around it is not cool. I want to see Hamas totally disarming and to see Gaza completely de-radicalized before I jump on tasks to build Gaza or rebuild Gaza or any of that. And up to this point, they haven't delivered. So what these guys are doing, I don't understand. I don't know their motives. I don't know why they're coming to Gaza. I don't know what they want to do in Gaza. And I really don't give about their plans. What I care about, that I don't want more repetition of this scenario where terrorist groups, whether if it's communists, jihadists, it doesn't matter who's going to come hijack it, to weaponize civilians in the future for political and financial gain. Enough of this play. I don't like it, and we don't want to repeat it. So now for the big players to come and do whatever they want, ignoring the reality that Gaza has been the breeding ground for such terrorism, for hateful indoctrination, and for victimhood. And now they want to ignore all this. I don't know how they will be able to bring peace to the region. They call it the Board of Peace. This is a joke. These people are not looking for peace. They're not looking for peace that is founded on truth. And this is why I want from the State of Israel to be very careful how we're working with these allies. I totally understand that we could be fighting against the same enemy, but I am sure that we're not fighting for the same purpose. And we need to be very careful not to deal with the consequences of such political ambition and unchecked lust for power.
And now, as an Arab, do you think it is truly possible to think that Hamas and Hezbollah can be disarmed?
Well, they should. There are two options: disarm or die. It's not hard to figure out.
But what do you think they will do?
It's their choice. It's their choice. What they did on October 7, what they did for Gaza, what they have been doing throughout the region. This type of savages, this type of barbarians lost their right to exist long time ago. The only way to deal with them is by the means of force, by the means of the gun. To negotiate with them at this point is validating them, legitimizing them, and proving their strategy of targeting civilians, of weaponizing civilians as a successful experience. This is why I don't like the entire plan. And if they keep ignoring this problem and playing their big game, they are going to wake up to face this reality sooner or later. The condition is to disarm these militias, send them to exile, or even send them to hell. Who cares? There is no way in between. And all the short halfway solutions, that means that we will have to deal with this problem 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when such politicians would be long gone. So we have to be very, very careful. And we have been actually dealing with the faults of politicians for an entire century. That they appear, they make decisions, then the generations come and have to take responsibility for their poor judgment, poor choices, greedy ambition. Enough of this.
If you were the prime minister now, what would you do with Gaza?
I don't know what the prime minister, what type of forces, how much he has to compromise. And thank God that I am not the prime minister, because you see, I will not compromise. It is going to be breaking bone with everybody. So I'm not a politician. I'm a free thinker, and this is how the way I see it. This is not Trump's business in Gaza. This is not Turkey's or Qatar's business in Gaza. I want them out of the picture completely. And I want for Israel to do everything they can to make sure that the threat has been eliminated completely, and Palestinian militias will never have the capacity to attack Israel again, ever again, and they will never have the capacity to weaponize their civilians for any future war. This is when I will be satisfied. But what do I want to do with morons coming from outside and want to decide the future of the region? The same way I don't want to interfere with the Iranian business, I don't want anyone from outside to come and interfere with the future of Gaza and the future of the State of Israel.
You have suggested that Israeli Arabs are a fifth column. for the Jewish states. Why do you hold this view, and what do you think should be done with the Israeli Arabs?
Okay. I would say the vast majority. The vast majority of the Israeli Arabs, they don't have their loyalty to the state of Israel. Not everybody in the state of Israel actually is a fifth column. There are some of them who serve in the army. It's a very small minority. Some of them serve in intelligence, very small minority, a handful of people. It's very disappointing to see 2 million people. You know, what's your contribution to the state you live in? Except just barbarism against each other, slaughtering hundreds of people every year, assassinations and killings and honor killings, and illegal arms and taxation fraud. Why all this chaos? I don't see that this is communities functioning within the fabric of the society. And this is why I see them as actually existential threat, because they are not able to integrate and to build the bridges of understanding and to serve the democracy they live in and to appreciate and show some gratitude and contribution. Instead, what they're doing, they have been collecting weapons. The Israeli Arabs have more than 400,000 illegal guns. Why? What do they want to do with the guns? Illegal guns. So for me, this is a problem. Many of them identify as Palestinians. What is Palestinian? You are an Israeli. Your nationality is an Israeli. Your citizenship is an Israeli. Your loyalty is to the Israeli flag. Yet your Knesset members identify as Palestinians and make you believe that you or your Knesset representatives. So you still identify as Palestinian. A Palestinian ideology is the enemy of the state of Israel. It's the colonial entity. It's existential threat to the state of Israel. Yet you still identify as a Palestinian. So I have a problem with you. You need to choose. Are you a Palestinian or you are an Israeli? It's their choice.
What do you think is the situation of Israel today? Is it better or worse than before October 7? Did it win or did it lose the war?
Well, the situation is still difficult, and we have some challenges. There's so many proxies, enemies within the borders of the state of Israel, whether if it's in Judea and Samaria, militias, Palestinian Authority, Hamas still armed, the global forces pushing Israel around, and Arab community within the state of Israel without full loyalty to the state of Israel. So the challenges are still there. We still have now the Iranian challenge, and we don't know how world leaders are going to manage the Iranian crisis. So there's so many things to take in consideration, and we always hope that things are going to get better. All indication that things are going towards more challenge and more escalation.
If you have a 401k or an IRA, please listen. Gold is at record highs. What many people don't know is this: you can move part of your retirement money legally and without tax penalties into physical gold you actually own. Alpha Omega Gold helps you do this through a gold IRA. Your gold is real. It is stored safely. It is in your name. Learn more at ao.gold/stand. Alpha Omega Gold is our sponsor, and they proudly stand with Israel.